I've been making this series of videos about vibrato, and I wanted to dedicate a whole video to one of the most common and hard to fix problems that I see among students. It's what I call the electric shock vibrato. And that's a very fast, nervous vibrato, kind of like this. It might sound good when you're playing fast, energetic music. But if you're trying to play something that's slow and beautiful, it's not that great. And if you really want to fix this, the good news is you can. The bad news is just going to take some time, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about the difference between what I call the electric shock, this nervous vibrato, and a nice nicer, rounded, controlled vibrato. When you're making vibrato, the motion comes from the elbow right here. And what's happening is this muscle here, your bicep, pulls the arm this way, then this muscle back here, your triceps, pulls the muscles the other way. So they're going back and forth. And as this muscle's going this way, this muscle has to relax to let it release. And in a slow speed, this is very easy to coordinate going back and forth. As you get faster and faster, as we need to do for vibrato, you will reach a point where you can't control that release of the muscle that's not working, and the muscles start to work against each other. So the timing gets kind of off, and you start to get this sort of clenched feeling. And if you go fast enough, you'll always eventually get to that point. What happens with a lot of students is if you clench enough, you get this sort of quivering motion like this. I'm making this fast motion just by tensing up the muscles, and I'm getting this quivering feeling. The problem with it is it's very jagged, and I can only go one speed. I literally can only go this fast. I can't really slow that down. It's either on or off. And I think students get to this point where they get that fast thing going, and that becomes what they think of as vibrato. And in your mind, that tight, quivering feeling is vibrato. And it is sort of a vibrato, but it's not really a good vibrato. So the first thing you have to do if you want to fix this, and there are a lot of reasons why you should, by the way. First of all, everything you play will be more beautiful, including the fast things will be more beautiful. You'll be able to control the speed of your vibrato. When you need a slower vibrato, it will be there for you. The other reason, though, is this clenching could eventually cause some injury, some tendonitis or some other injury to your arm if you do it long enough. So that's another reason to try to fix this. In order to really fix this, unfortunately, you basically have to start over. I've never seen a student who was able to take this tight, quick vibrato and just start slowing it down and making it more relaxed. The only success I've had is with students who really committed themselves to fixing this and just stop vibrating what they think of as vibrating and kind of start over. And if you want to know where to go with that, you can check out my video about cello vibrato, and also the guidance of any teacher who's showing you from the beginning how to vibrate is good. But you will have to start turning off this other kind of vibrato, and it's going to be hard because at this point your mind has probably associated vibrato with this sort of clenched feeling. In fact, I've seen this many times where students are trying to get them to just start from the beginning and do a slow vibrato like this, and they literally are doing a fast, nervous vibrato superimposed over that slow vibrato. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen this quite a few times, and they don't even realize they're doing it. It's become sort of an unconscious thing. The other reason this is really so hard to fix is because if you've been doing this for a while, vibrato should be something like breathing, where it just happens without you thinking about it. You're playing an orchestra, you're playing a solo, and it's just happening. That you also, like breathing, should be able to make it slower or faster, wider or deeper, whichever you need for that situation. So to fix this, Go back to step one, sliding very slow. And then you're going to have to really pay attention to when that clenched feeling starts happening. You may feel it in your elbow or you may feel it here. And just really watch out for it. You've got to be really vigilant about that. And just try to stop that from happening. It's going to be really difficult if you've been doing this for a long time. And a lot of times you'll get partway there, and I will see students that are able to do a nice phrase, and then suddenly that comes in somewhere. And so you just got to keep watching out for that. Eventually, if you work at this, replacing that with a slower, more controlled vibrato, hopefully that will completely go away. It may turn out that in some situations you actually want that kind of electric shock vibrato. Hopefully it's, in that case, it's there for you when you want it, but it doesn't creep in when you don't want it. So if you're one of the people who are afflicted with the electric shock vibrato, I hope you will take the time to try to fix this. I also have to say, if you're playing in a school orchestra or, in other places with other people, it might be really difficult to just not vibrate at all for a while, which is really the best way. And I really understand that you may have a conductor who's really insisting that everybody vibrates. And in those situations, you might just have to not worry about it too much. And then when you get home, really practice. I think it'll make it a little bit harder, but I think sometimes you do have to just accept the electric shock vibrato until you're able to really completely get rid of it and replace it with something much more beautiful, much more healthy for your arm as well.